In this next series of videos, I'm going to be showing you the basic processes of mixing audio. Mixing is the stage of production in which you take raw audio files that have been recorded by you or by somebody else, and you balance them, you pan them, you add some effects, and you create a polished, professional sounding product. Mixing is both an art and a science. It takes years to really learn and get good at, so don't worry if you're not great at it right away. And this video is just going to scratch the surface by introducing you to balancing tracks with the faders. So here in Pro Tools, I have this session. It's called Brotet Soul Cries Out. This was a great jazz group I recorded years ago. Their name is not really Brotet. We called them that during the session because we thought it was funny. But this is a great group led by the drummer James Gators, and they're pretty incredible. Let's listen to a little bit of this track. All right, so it's a great soulful song, but it's out of balance. We're going to balance it out a little bit better. So I'm going to go to my mix window, and first thing I'm going to do is drag every fader down by about 10 dB, 10 decibels. That's going to give us this extra headroom so that we can add effects later and mix and balance better. So right now, my all group is already turned on, right? You can see that down here in the groups box. So it's on, everything's selected. All I have to do is grab this fader and drag it down by, let's say, 10.5 decibels there. You can see the change in that number. And then I'm going to turn the all group off by clicking on it. And then I just want to move my master fader back up to 0. And if I option click it, it goes to 0. I can also command click on a track and then click it, and it kind of deselects everything else. But the groups box is very handy to know about. So let's listen again, and this time we're going to focus on rebalancing the tracks with these faders. And I'm going to solo instruments just in pairs. Now it says snare. It's really using like the rim right now, but it's still the snare drum. But it will be a thinner sound than like a full snare. So if the drummer ever goes to full snare, we may have to rebalance, add some automation or some clip gain editing, things like that. We'll figure it out later. Let's add the overheads in. I'm skipping the toms for now because the toms are sort of like, they come in once in a while. They're more active here than in like rock, but the overheads carry the whole kit, and the cymbals. You gotta hear the toms in the overheads. Let's add the saxophone in. It's like the most important voice in this. So I'm going to go back to my edit window, select right there so that whenever I play, it starts with the saxophone. And that piano is pretty loud for this texture, so I'm going to bring that down. Let's add those tom tracks in. Matter of fact, an option click on the solo to get rid of all the solos. That's a much better balance. Now, we're not all the way there yet. In the subsequent videos, we're going to be panning these tracks, and that'll affect the balance. We're going to EQ the tracks and put compression on them. That'll affect the balance. So the purpose of this video is just to show you that the faders are there, they exist, and that you can balance the tracks and kind of get you thinking about what should be forward and what should be in the background. And this is all part of giving your track depth. Some things are louder and they're closer to you. Some things are quieter and they're farther away. And that gives your mix depth.